Thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Hello, I'm Stephen Willis from Locked On Ole Miss, joined by Tom Vanderford for his weekly segment on all things Ole Miss sports. And Tom, just a little brag moment for me, and the interview is going to air tomorrow. I got to interview John Forcade today. And that was really cool because John Forcade, he's got the perfect personality for this type medium. He's just excellent to talk to. He walked me through the legend of him wearing an Ole Miss helmet to a Louisiana high school all-star game. He walked me through the last play where he scored a touchdown in his last play in college. The crazy play against the LA Rams when he played for the Saints that fumbled twice and he ended up scoring a touchdown. He went through all of that. It was amazing.
Yeah, Forcade's a legend, man. He's awesome. And, you know, his brother, Keith, was a good player as well at Ole Miss.
Yeah, per John, John Forcade and Keith Forcade were the only brothers in Ole Miss history to ever score a touchdown in their very last game. Because in 82, Keith scored a touchdown in Steve Sloan's last game. That was the only score in a pick six.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
That's I love those guys. You know, I grew up with John Darnell and played ball at the Y with him when I was a little pup. And, you know, I'm kind of partial to John as well. But I loved Forcade. Forcade was just, you know, he'd have them. He was Byron Leftwich before Byron Leftwich was Byron Leftwich. You know, he'd have the lineman carried him down the field because he was hurt. And then he would do some wild thing to win the game. He was just, he was awesome.
Yeah, it was really truly a bucket list type item to get him to come on and do it. And he said it like he said he was going to do it, but during football season, he said he was going to come on and be like a regular contributor. Like, you know, we could just get him once a week during football season, the same way we do Bill Flowers. And that will be amazing, especially with the way Ole Miss can do it, because Forcade coached some football too. So he has some knowledge outside that, played in the NFL. Like I said, I'm fired up.
Tupelo Fire Ants, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yeah, no, he's a legend, man. Forcade's a legend. Yeah, I'll be sure to watch all that because I love that guy. And but yeah, we're hanging in there. You know, the last day to add drop, I think, is tomorrow, isn't it?
I think so. They may have moved it because it started a little bit late. I don't know that there's anything cooking necessarily.
Probably not.
Oh,
it's just hopefully all those people that we had committed are there and attending class. So that's the important thing.
Yeah. Caleb Odom probably should get in the portal, whether he goes to Ole Miss or not, because it looks like Ryan Grubbs might be going back to Washington for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I would think about it. I think Caleb Odom would be a good fit. I know his mom likes Coach Kiffin. I'd love to have
Coach Cox.
Pardon?
And Coach Cox.
Yeah, because Cox is our guy now.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So hopefully, you never know. We'll see. There's another portal opening in the spring.
April 15th.
Yep. And, you know, I saw earlier where there's the defensive tackle from Michigan. I don't think we're a player, but they had us as a player in their prognostications. But you never know. I am so thankful for how this portal has turned out. I love Q, but I'm loving that offensive line a lot better. You know,
okay. I'm just going to be real for a second. Q going up there and trying to do an interview and saying this wasn't NIL base and the reason he left Ole Miss and the reason he went to Ohio State's not. And then the very first sentence was he talks about how it's a business. And what are you doing, man? Just be real. Don't talk about it at all. But you don't have to lie. You don't have to lie.
No, and it's it's such a strange situation.
Mhm.
There's the Ole Miss perspective that we're familiar with. There's the Ohio State perspective, and then there's Q and Mama T's perspective. And I don't know. I just think it was a hasty business decision.
They overplayed their hand.
And,
That's what they did. They overplayed their hand.
and listen, like I said, I love them. I wish them the best. I don't think people realize how good Kedrick Riscano is going to be. I don't think they understand just how good Ulysses Bentley is going to be, being kind of the main guy. I think, at least I know Ulysses Bentley is an unselfish person, team player, and that means a lot. That means a lot, and team chemistry is the big thing. We had a lot of issues, or we did not have issues as much as a lot of other teams had with team chemistry. I think they really try to look at the fit with the player before they offer in free agency, as I like to call it. And we've had some good luck. I think, and we've dodged some bullets. Now don't get me wrong. We don't always get it right. Sometimes we take a flyer, like we did with Chris Marshall, and it doesn't work out, or Michael Trigg. And, we're like, hey, wish you luck, go on, have a good life. And I do like the way that Lane Kiffin handles the roster changes. He handles it like an NFL coach.
Yeah. And you have a situation to where, I think the main thing, this transfer portal stuff is going to happen. You're no longer going to have a program. You're going to have a team every year, and you're going to try and make the best of it.
Yep.
And I think when you have a quarterback that is a dominant personality, all of this can work, and it can work really well. I think if you had a situation where you didn't have a quarterback and the inmates were kind of running the asylum, I can see how this would be a situation where Ole Miss wins 6-7 games. But Ole Miss does have a quarterback. And I think Lane Kiffin knows this because they have a quarterback that's a senior, a quarterback that's a junior, a quarterback that's a sophomore. So they're guaranteed to have somebody in the pipeline, so they're not like scrambling next January.
Yeah, and by the way, those quarterbacks in the pipeline are some of the highest rated quarterbacks that we've ever signed in Ole Miss history. So that's the difference. You don't have and nothing bad intended when I say this, but you don't have Cliff Stout's kid backing you up.
Zach Stout.
Yeah, Zach Stout. Or the kid from Oklahoma, backing you up. This is
Nathan
back
Stanley.
Yeah. So you've got some really very good players. So the future's bright. He knows what he's doing. I think he's happy. I think he knows that the pressure at Ole Miss isn't like the pressure he would have at Florida or Texas or any of those other schools. So, man, I've waited my whole adult life for something like this.
And the coaching staff, just to change the subject real quick, the coaching staff got finalized, and Coach McDonald, Coach Cox, they got it named official. Their releases by the university. And then we got news that Billy Glasscock is replacing Austin Thomas as the general manager. And if you want to know exactly what a general manager does, there's about 10 minutes on yesterday's show. Check that out. But the important thing is that you need to remember the general manager handles off the football field stuff, and it's generally the tedious stuff that a head coach doesn't have time for.
I've also that Glasscock is a tremendous talent evaluator. And think that's wonderful. I mean, we need, like you said, we need to keep priming that pipeline. And nothing against Coach Nix. I love him. But he was a running backs coach, and he was, coaching receivers. He did a great job. I wish him well. But if you check out this wide receiver coach we got, he's the real deal. Mm-hmm. And Cox speaks for himself. I mean, he's, ex-Georgia quarterback, coached tight ends at Alabama. We get him. Hey, that's wonderful. He's already hit the recruiting trail. He's a good kid, a good guy. So who knows?
Yeah, he started in North Carolina, which tells me whenever he decided he was going to take the job, he was back home visiting parents or something like that because he's from North Carolina. So he just hit the schools near him.
Yeah, I saw where he visited some big time tight end up there while he was home. So it's for people who have been Ole Miss fans for many years, like you and I have. I've been an Ole Miss fan for over 50 years. And this is just a wonderful thing. We've got a wonderful coaching staff. We've got fan support. If you're not a member of the Grove Collective NIL, I would suggest you do it. I'm a poor little engineer, but I'm a member of the Grove Collective NIL.
You drive trains?
Sir?
You drive trains?
No, sir. I'm not a train driver. No, sir. I'm not in that league yet. No, I'm just an entry level NIL guy, but all the money adds up. And then you've got your big donors that help as well, but it just shows that we've bought in.
Yeah. And changing the subject again, it's not just football related. Basketball is going through a little bit of a renaissance at the moment. And Chris Beard tonight has a game against the Auburn Tigers, absolutely massive basketball game. And if Ole Miss wins this game, they will go 19-3 on the season. They're already, I think, are at the best start in franchise history or program history. But 19-3 is on the table. And if Ole Miss wins and gets to 19-3, which I'm not doubting Ole Miss can beat anybody in that building at this point. I just completely don't doubt it. Yeah. But if Ole Miss gets 19-3, we need to kind of recalibrate our expectations, don't we?
Oh, I completely agree with that as well. I saw that where you mentioned that. I think it was on Twitter the other day that we, if we win this game Saturday yes, we need to recalibrate. We've got a wonderful, wonderful head basketball coach.
Yeah. Absolutely nuts. And next week, I guess Tuesday, they play at South Carolina. Ole Miss has not played well traditionally at South Carolina. Weird stuff happens in that building. And then they go to Rupp the end of that week. So if Ole Miss wins, that's 6-3. That's probably going to turn into 6-5, but you're in a pretty good spot moving forward because it gets a lot easier after that Kentucky game.
Right. Yeah. You're playing Kentucky at home. Like you said, traditionally, we don't do good against South Carolina on the road. And if you notice this year, nobody's really done great on the road in the SEC. So, but you never know. You never know. Never say never. This basketball team is a huge surprise. Team of destiny. I saw today where somebody crystal balled a 5-star guard that visited this weekend. But I don't, get crazy.
He visited for the state game. He was in there Tuesday night.
Oh yeah. And he brought his whole family. I'm just saying, I don't trust crystal balls this early in the process. But
no. Yeah. And for better or worse, I don't trust crystal balls from local Ole Miss writers.
Well, I don't either. They're trying to sell subscriptions, and I get it. But
if the national one has something, I'll pay attention.
Exactly. You see Wilt Fong or one of those guys, I'm like, my ears perk up. But we're just, the trajectory of Ole Miss sports is amazing.
It's amazing.
It is. You picked a great time to do this, bro.
I'm telling you, hey, the this YouTube channel started 3 days after the Sugar Bowl in 2022.
Yep.
Yeah, so 3 days after that Sugar Bowl, the YouTube channel started. And this channel we've been around for basically 2 Sugar Bowls and a Peach Bowl. And yeah, we're the good luck charm. That's the way I look at it. We're the good luck charm.
I heard that. Yeah, that was one of the best days in my Twitter life when you put out there, hey, anybody interested in doing some perspectives on my show? I'm like, hey, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I love it. And just about anybody that wants to do it, if anybody will put the effort into it, because I can always know that I can count on Tom. But I'm going to make you put the effort in to get on the air the first time, because once you do it, if you're good, I'm going to keep counting on you. I'm not just going to say, hey, do you want to do that? You can ask Tom. It's like, hey, I pop in on Thursday. It's like 5:15. And he's like, yes, sir. And we're good to go, because that's the plan. Every 5:15 on Thursday, I'm interviewing Tom. And that's what I like about perspectives. And now I'm starting to get former player perspectives. And yeah, it's awesome. It's great. So anyways, thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I do want to thank everybody for making it. Tomorrow, interview with John Forcade. Please check out the video that I did and released on Friday afternoon with Brantley Sanderson. That's on the South Carolina game for Coach Yo and the ladies. Let's give them some traction and look. It doesn't take anything to do it. We'll have that as well. And we're trying to expand our spring season stuff as well. And here in the next week or so, we'll start having Derek Vandegrift on pretty consistently as well. But for Tom Vanderford, I'm Stephen Willis, and thank you very much. We'll see you later. Hotty toddy.